From that what we have discussed so far follows: evolution brings forth a spiritual hierarchy, known not only to esoterics, but also to the churches for millennia. Its biblical symbol is the Jacob's ladder. Jacob's ladder is the symbol of our abode. This ladder consists of an uninterruptedly ascending chain of souls. It starts at the bottom with small souls incarnated in minerals, plants, and animals. It reaches man and continues via ever greater souls, which appear as Mahatmas, angels, and archangels, up to rulers over planets, solar systems, galaxies, and universes. Every diamond, every crystal, every plant and star has its own individual soul, besides man and animal, and there is a hierarchy of souls from the lowest forms of matter up to the world soul. Why is it so difficult for people to imagine an endless chain of creators, from the lowest to the highest, up to the inaccessible? Thus, from the smallest to the greatest, proceed by steps, each link being visible and tangible. This ladder reaches up to the highest being that we call God, which, however, is so far removed from us humans that we cannot yet perceive it for the time being. However, the concept of hierarchy allows us to form a scientific idea of God. We are dealing with this topic more specifically in the broadcasting Who or What is God? Verily, the ladder reaches heaven. The ladder rests on the earth and loses itself in the heavenly spheres. Huxley wrote that it was reasonable to think that beings existed in the scale of life as much advanced beyond man as man is beyond the evolutionary status of a black beetle. All the great religions and philosophies of the world have taught this truth, and ancient wisdom confirms it fully. Jesus said, in effect, "Even these stones shall be raised to gods." It is literally true that from stone to archangel, grade upon grade of life arises, all of which the evolving soul must contact before it can gain the perfection of divine consciousness, or become one with the Father in heaven. Jacob's ladder. That sounds very esoteric. How can you prove that? The reality of the ladder of hierarchy cannot be grasped by the intellect, but only by the heart. Your natural feeling tells you this is how it should be. Only like this is the cosmos construed beautifully, justly, and meaningfully. With the heart you can sense the existence of your greater brothers and sisters. Now one should concentrate on the heart as the channel to the hierarchy. That way, nobody can say that the hierarchy is not a reality because there is no path to approach it. Indeed, there is the most substantial approach, that in which the heart acts as an intercessor. We had already said, following Nietzsche, in the infinite chain of hierarchy, man is only a link between smaller and higher beings, a transition to the next stage of evolution, the overman, or man of spirit. The Jacob's ladder of the hierarchy embraces all peoples, cultures, religions, teachings of wisdom, and worldviews. All the great teachers, saints, and spiritual warriors of humanity have their place there. Be sure, your teacher as well is a member of the hierarchy, provided he is a true one. Anyone can join it. To each one of us is assigned a place in this order. Everyone is connected to a chain link that stands above him on the ladder. To each one clings a chain link below him. We climb the rungs of this ladder step by step. We had already said in the last broadcasting on the law of evolution, man is on the path to God. Or we fall down like Lucifer, who had already risen to the state of an angel, only to fall even at this height and to succumb again to the earthly, the material. As you go upward, you are more and more united with all who have gone that path before, who lend you strength and help. He who isolates and places himself outside the hierarchy will not find the true path and be unable to live up to his destiny. It is sad to see how many well-meant efforts thus remain without effect. When the understanding is not founded upon hierarchy, the focus cannot be so vitally displayed, and each one who isolates himself cannot find his way to us. Thus, there are so many roaming shadows who cannot turn the affirmed key. Thus, so many strivings are lost in space. We are now coming to a point that is of crucial importance for the world view of the future. When there are higher levels of evolution, more developed creatures, you should not assume that humanity lives apart and separated from them. Nature does not make leaps. On Earth, the various stages, minerals and plants, animals and humans are living side by side and in manifold connections with each other. One can observe the extent to which there simultaneously dwell on Earth living beings of the most diverse status. The lower levels seek to establish contact with the higher ones as far as they can. Thus, the animals are craving for the guide assigned to them, man. Therefore, it is entirely natural that man as well is looking for his Lord and Master. As the connection between man and the lower beings is evident, so does there exist a connection to the higher spheres. This longing for connection with above is the essence, the core of every religion. Trust in it. Evolution gives every living being, man no other than animal, the opportunity to find its Lord, to establish contact with him, and to place himself under his guidance. For your dog or your horse, you are a god. They strive to approach you and are happy to serve you, because thereby they learn, grow, and fulfill their mission. It is quite in the order of nature that you too find the beings above you, approach them, establish contact, and cooperate with them in their great work. Animals receive fiery sparks, particularly through contact with man. Likewise does man nourish his own fiery body through communion with hierarchy. One's consciousness must accept the realization of the logic of Jacob's ladder. All creatures can find access to it when they are imbued with right striving. Be very sure that the power that has built up and sustained this universe has never left itself without witnesses. Find those witnesses, if it cost a life. There is no lasting peace, happiness, or divine usefulness for you until you do find them and lead others to the source of the same. It would be absurd, contrary to nature, and unscientific to assume that evolution had erected above man of all things an insurmountable barrier that excludes any contact with the next higher level. Do not think that our community is hidden from humanity by impregnable walls. The snows of Himalaya that hide us are not obstacles for true seekers, but only for the curious ones. The worlds are not only in contact, but even overlap one another. The law of consecutiveness is firmly expressed in all nature. This is beyond my scope of experience. How can I establish contact with higher beings? You can achieve this in particular in meditation. The further you develop this practice, the more sensitive you become, the more reliably you may actually lead a conversation with a higher non-incarnated being, especially with your spiritual father, your teacher. How you can draw strength, joy, comfort, knowledge, and guidance from this connection we are discussing in our broadcasting on meditation. We now come to a second, most important motto. The actual connection at least of sensitive people with the higher levels, is the scientific basis of every religion. The bridge between the life of each servant of light and the succeeding step reveals a saturated striving of the heart.